Meet Cytachain, the world's most innovative crypto ecosystem. Cytachain simplifies DeFi for mainstream users and seamlessly integrates crypto into everyday life. Discover the endless possibilities with Cytachain's Layer 0 blockchain. Go and check them out, cytachain.com.
From meme to utility, Floki has it all. NFT metaverse game called Valhalla. Floki University, DeFi, charity, and shopping. Floki is governed by the people, for the people. Floki, together, there is no stopping us.
Metis is a Layer 2 network powering the next generation of decentralized applications. Everything we need all in one. Permissionless, frictionless, and boundless. Go and check them out. Metis.io.
Have you ever wanted to invest in real estate but never had the means to do it before? With Credifi, your opportunity has arrived. With as little as $100, you can tap into a whole new world of reliable loans backed by a range of real-world assets, including real estate, future receivables, and more.
Good afternoon, everyone. BC Richfield here, coming to you live from London. It's just gone a couple of minutes past midday, making it just gone the same UTC. A big shout out to everybody joining the stream live today, and for everybody watching this on catch up as well. Nit was in for the win today, just pipping Erica by the post with whacking. A very close third. So really, really good day to everyone. The sun is shining here in London today. We've had a brilliant London session to start the morning. How are we all doing? We're going to have a slightly shorter session today, guys. We're going to cap it around about sort of 20, 30 minutes. And we are just going to rip through some alt charts, which are going to come at your request. So if you let me know what you want to look at, I'm going to tell you exactly where I am and where my thoughts are. We're going to keep kind of education out of this stream a little bit. If you've got any particularly pressing questions, please do ask them. If I can't find time to cover them today, then I will certainly do so on another session. So we're going to start with our daily chart here. If you do have any alts you want me to take a look at, please do pop them in there. Boom! Tim the Chin. That's a brilliant name. That is a proper East London name, that is, my friend. Right, okay, brilliant. So for Tim, let's just, in fact, we're just going to rip straight into it. Sun is rising here in OKC. Awesome. Fantastic to hear. Vlad, my friend, hello. Right, so, all right, let's not even start with these. Let's just go straight into Boom, shall we? Let's have a look. What have we got here with our friends? Oh, who should we go with today from our list of just awesome exchanges that we work with? So, let's have a look, shall we? Let's take a look at the Binance chart first. I have to say, I have been trading a lot with Femex, and I've just absolutely been loving that, but I'm going to probably do a little video on that soon, guys, to just give you my kind of insights. Right, so newly launched coin. Yeah, okay. So Governor, love that, Tim. TIA, yeah, sure, let's find TIA as well. What else? SEIINJ. Soul, love that. Okay, so we've got a nice little list here. So let's take a look at this right now. These studies are based on the principles of liquidity, meaning that I'm looking for price to attack liquidity above an old high, below an old low, or to rebalance a gap. The only thing the daily is telling me is that the last point of liquidity we took was from this low here, right? Meaning that the only thing I can expect here on the daily, bearing in mind we really don't have a lot of data here, guys, right? So then I'm looking for price to draw towards this daily fair value gap, all right? In terms of liquidity that's resting above here, then we don't really have a swing high in here because we don't have a high with flanked by two lower highs. So let's take the high of the day from Monday, setting in Monday's range. We can see if this candle it covers Monday's range, we've swept Monday's range low. Now we'd be working our way up to some kind of midline, which also aligns beautifully with this fair value gap, meaning that that's what we're going to be looking on our draw on liquidity is higher. Now moving down to a 4-hour chart. And just pop the session breaks off for a moment. So now we're asking ourselves, okay, well, what kind of plays into that theory here? If we're going to mark out our key kind of liquidity here as well, then we've got this high, which lines up just simply beautifully with the lower part of that daily fair value gap. So let me just draw this in, actually. So FVGD for daily. Now, one thing to consider here is if we're looking at this reverse of what we were just talking about. Price has come in and kind of swept these relative equal highs here, yeah? And price is now coming back down. What I do like about bullish continuation here, Harry, ciao, an Italian stallion in the group. I do have Italian family based over in Milan. Absolutely love the Itais. I think quite possibly the best food and family culture out there. And dying away as well. Great to see you back on the stream, mate. So if the expectation now on the daily is that price is getting drawn higher, I don't like this wick from a perspective of the fact that it's got up very close to that and then started to reject. Price action's looking a little bit bearish. But what we've done is we've set this order block here when price has kind of come up. Now, when it's closed above here, this is telling me that I'm looking for price to draw down and then expand higher. But as we look at this, we can see quite clearly here that that doesn't look like currently being the play. Now, if that is what we're looking to do, and we need to give weight to the higher time frame, I think what I would want to see is something like this, right? And let me tell you for why. Is because we've got liquidity resting up here. When we take this down, we've now got this on the hourly scale, remember? But this downside wick here, which looks like where price is kind of heading towards at the moment, if we're going to see a bullish recovery in here, right, this is where I would expect to see it. And then if we get that, what I would be looking for in terms of a pattern is I would be looking for a low to be set. I'd be looking for that low to be swept, for price to close above, and then move higher, okay? Meaning that if we look at it here, yeah, we would see that. That's our sweep. That's to generate liquidity. This is the shift in market structure, okay? And then we can either pull that line across and use this kind of area to find our entries, or you could get, say, a fair value gap or something that was down in this spot that would also provide an entry, yeah? So that's what I would be looking for there for continuation on BOEM. Just kind of going back to the 4 hour quickly, because the other thing that we always want to allow for is what if we're due for more of a drop, okay? So if we're looking for more of a drop, then, well, first thing here on the 4 hour, if we close below this, yeah. So if we close below this, the up candle then becomes an order block lower, meaning that these levels here that we saw on the daily, if we now move this down to allow for our 4 hour, okay, so if we see price come down here, now remember, we would need a 4 hour close below this. So what we could see is price come down here, leave a wick. If it reclaims this level, then I fancy that we're going to move higher, all right? If we close below this here, then I'm going to be chasing down these liquidity targets here and this one down there, but all on the lower time frame, all right? So let's take a look at TIA as well. Take a look with our friends Bybit. Guys, if you're looking for any exchanges to work with, we've pretty much partnered with the biggest and the best of them. So you can find information down in the description for some great sign-up bonuses, bits and pieces like that. Also, if you want to come and learn with us or get our trading team calls, which earned sort of 330% return on investment last year, then you can check all of that out in the description, all right? So 4 hour, let's get this on the daily. And let's see. So the first thing I'm asking myself is, okay, where has liquidity been swept? Yeah, so where is price coming from? Ricky Garcia, welcome, my friend. Yeah, you know what? Let's just pummel as many as we can in the next 20 minutes. I'll try and get to Filecoin for you, mate. So key liquidity here, right? Now, we've swept this. Obviously, this swept this before. So look what happens when we attack key liquidity points, right? Just to kind of show you guys this. Again, I'm not going to really go into too much detail, but the principle is if we take liquidity from down here, yeah, sell side liquidity as ICT traders would know it, you know, regular like liquidity or sweeps of the lows, however you want to call it. Prices come into this. Look at this nice upside wick. Yeah, when this candle closes, it tells us something. It tells that we're facing some kind of absorption here and we expect price to move higher. Exactly the same thing happened here, right? So we came in, what happened? We swept this, and people say, yeah, you closed there, but did you really sweep liquidity? We absolutely did. We came to attack that higher. Yeah. So then what happened once we've attacked that higher? Price then is always looking for liquidity, right? Where's the clear and obvious low? It's here. Yeah. Now, but while price swept that and that, price did then indeed come back up and ultimately attack that high there. Yeah. So this is the kind of structure that we're looking for, or not the structure, but this is the kind of dynamic that we're looking for. So whenever we see a reaction at a level like this, I'm always saying to myself, where has price swept liquidity, right? And we've swept liquidity from here. Now, if I saw a close below this, yeah, my expectations would be more towards looking at this low here. All right. Now, the fact that we can see price came back down here, the buyers stepped in, price came back up. I'm now saying to myself, okay, well, where's the next point of liquidity that I can look for, that I can target? Hey, big shout out to our legendary little listener, Zach, and his father, Whack, tuning in to us from Singapore. Absolutely love to see it. Zach, soon going to be the future of trading. And good Lord, do I wish that I got into this so young. So now we're looking for this. I'm just asking myself, where's the next liquidity? Well, on a daily scale, look, there's no fair value gaps in here. Yeah. So there's no inefficiencies to target. There's just the upside is here. So really, if the buyers have stepped in, if institutional buyers have stepped in here and they want to sell this up higher up, yeah, then this is the most obvious point to do it. If we had fair value gaps in here, I would target that. In terms of what I'm looking for, if I take this high, sorry, this high to this low, and I go like this, again, this is an ICT principle. I've seen other traders use it as well. You're basically taking the displacement leg or the current high to the current high to low. We're looking at this as a range. And what we're saying to ourselves is we favor long setups in the lower portion of that range. For anybody wondering how to set these ranges, typically how I do it is I look for a low to a high, and you want to see liquidity swept. So like we've got that here. And when we look at this low down here, we've taken some liquidity from down there, right? So clear and obvious low, clear and obvious high, we've swept liquidity here. So then when we draw our premium and discount range in, and again, for those wondering this, how do I then know when to stop? Well, I don't, because before we had this price action, we set this higher, right? When we set this high, I always stop it on the first down close candle or on the first up close candle going up the other way. And what you can see here is price. See, this was a bad place to long, right? Doesn't mean that it won't work, but from a risk to reward perspective, you want to be long from discount, which is the lower 50%. So look what happened here when price had this expansion higher. If you were up here trying to long, you just got to be really, really cautious, all right? Now, what I prefer to do is wait for a pullback into a zone where I know I can get a good risk to reward buy. And then I look to the left and say, okay, well, where could price be reacting from? And for me, price is reacting beautifully from this order block, right? And we can see if we drag this along here, the significance that this order block has played, all right? So what happened? Order block is set, closed above, we have expansion. Price retests this, finds more buyers, comes back. Support, 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 right? Now, we're not getting the biggest reaction off of these, yeah? But we're not closing below it either. Then look what happens when we do close below it with this candle. We then can assume, okay, well, we've taken out liquidity here. So where's the next liquidity? This low. That's what price kind of hunted down, all right? That's just to give you a quick overview of my thought process on this. So if I'm now looking for price to expand higher here, then I'm looking for longs up into the red portion of this, right? Which is just the top 50% of the range. So as I move this down to a lower time frame, I'm then looking for confluent reasons to kind of back that play. And for me, I see a great one at the moment, right? So yesterday worked out lovely. Did it? No, we kind of had the expansion at this point, but the principles remain the same. We've taken external liquidity. We know that that's our higher time frame. The red line there is our higher time frame level. We also swept local liquidity here. Then what you want to see is a good, strong reaction, yeah? Ultimately, price has now moved from external liquidity. Then we're looking at these fair value gaps. Let me draw them in for you. Okay, we're looking at them being a draw on liquidity, right? Meaning that we don't know what price is going to do when it gets there. Yeah, we can see this one obviously inverse this on the very next candle as well. And this is extra important because this becomes a balanced price range, meaning that we have a fair value gap overtaken by another fair value gap. It can work bearish to bullish or bullish to bearish. This should then place a really good point of support. So when we've expanded up to here, all we've done is we've taken out this intermediate term high, which is here. All right, that's a high that's within a fair value gap. They provide really good liquidity pools. Now, again, all we've done is we've taken external liquidity, we've violated internal here in the form of this fair value gap, and now price has expanded higher. Well, we would expect price to have some kind of bearish reaction here because it's a bearish fair value gap. I'll do that in red just for anybody that's not familiar. So Remember, we're down in the green portion of our range here, meaning we're favoring long setups. So this isn't something we want to be worried about. I'd be worried if we closed below this. Yeah, because if we violate this balanced price range, then I think we would go lower, at least to here. But as we're looking at this at the moment, we've come in, we've set the low, we've swept liquidity, we've had expansion higher, we've taken out this higher. So if we overlay the same principles again, right, and this is our premium and discount range, what has price done? I'm just going to get rid of this just for a moment. All right, just to keep it a little bit cleaner. Price has drawn back down into here, yeah, into discount where we want to be long from. And we can see we reacted at this bullish fair value gap, yeah, which I'll just do in green to show that. And now we can see how this kind of overlays, right? So we can see how we're following this principle. Now, what happens if I'm wrong here, right? So let me just get rid of this for a minute. I'll also get rid of this. So what if I'm wrong here? What if price doesn't actually draw higher? Okay, then that's fine. All I need to know is I wait, I sit on my hands. Then if price closes below this, right? So if we violate this bullish fair value gap, this for me then becomes an inversion, an inverse fair value gap, meaning that price is showing weakness at an area it should show strength. Look what happened before. Yeah, price came into this area long downside wick. Look at the bodies, how they respected the top of that FVG, bearing in mind this is still bullish until we close below. If I'm wrong on my bias, and that will happen, it will happen a fair amount, all I know if we close below here, then I'm favoring shorts down to this low, all right? So at the moment, this is bullish. Just going to pop it back in green again, so we know that. We're above a balanced price range, and we have a clear liquidity target resting above us. And we have other clear liquidity targets. We've got another intermediate term high here. So I'm favoring this. Sorry, let me do that in green. I'm favoring this, providing expansion up to here. How I would look for that is on the lower time frames. Yeah, when price draws into these areas. Again, especially if we use fair value gaps, we can see this fair value gap here, which should have been bearish. So when price closed above it here, that was our indication that, okay, price is now moving higher. It's looking for liquidity higher up. Where's the first point that can look for liquidity? Is here, right? So when we see the reaction there, we're now asking ourselves, right, if that was bearish, right, and we've closed above it, we violated it, inversing it, right? So we're now using this as support. Again, look at how the bodies hold this area. We're now looking at this as support. We're looking for long setups. We want to take long setups either from clear liquidity sweeps or from fair value gaps. So within here, yeah, you could then drop down to an execution time frame, for example, this. And depending on what your entry model is, for example, you might be someone that's looking for a sweep of a low, right? And then for price to come up and attack a high, you've got price driving into a fair value gap down here, right? So you've got your high time frame level. You could say to yourself, all right, well, with a close above, we use a breaker line method. So price purges liquidity to the low, sets this high, sets a higher low, breaks market structure here, right? With displacement, meaning we can set a limit order on here. We tag ourselves in the next trade, put our stop loss a few pips under the swing low, and then target the clear and obvious liquidity that's resting here. But ultimately, we know that our higher time frame targets are higher up. But it just means that when we get to this spot, we can mitigate our risk. All right. Touche, my man, and Miguel as well. What a brilliant time to jump into the charts, guys. Great to see you both. Megastroke, first time seeing ICC concepts applied to crypto markets, which are less liquid and more manipulated. Yeah, absolutely. Henceforth, you got to be a little bit more careful with these markets, how low you're dropping the time frames in. You tend to get a lot of respect shown on the higher time frames. Again, you need to be careful if you're trading low caps, illiquid assets. You get a lot of gapping, low liquidity, which Megastroke absolutely rightly highlights here. And the manipulation, and by manipulation, he means this is what we're looking for. Typically with most things, we're looking for something like this, which evolves to say a power of three, meaning that you're looking for a point of consolidation. Yeah, so we see that price consolidates here. Just for the sake of it, I'll do that in orange. Then you want to see manipulation, right? You want to see the market sent in the wrong direction. In this case, this is to induce people short, yeah, but to also trigger all of these short stops down here that turn into obviously market sell orders, meaning that larger players can step in and fill them with buy orders. The third part of our power of three is that we're then looking for expansion. So accumulation, manipulation, expansion or distribution, as I think ICT traders would call it more often. So I do use a lot of ICT concepts. I also a very, very proud student of Trader SC, who's taught me an incredible amount in my life, as well as Crypto Berg. So a lot of heavy kind of ICT principles and concepts, which I trade very much on the equity markets, but I do kind of show a little bit of extra caution with crypto, because as Megastroke here says, you are dealing with less liquid markets, ones that can be manipulated easier. So just to finish off the thought process on this, look, I'm still bullish until we either get the scenario that we close below this 4-hour FVG. If not, I think we're targeting this here, which is 14,899, and then the next level above that would be at 16,113. Right, I'm going to speed up a little bit here, guys, try and catch these off for you, because I do have a trading session. Yeah, and another really good point here as well, and a lot of leverage that leads to liquidations. Basically, when you see these really big kind of manipulations, these really big wicks that come down, you often get them around news events. They're just designed to wipe out over-leveraged positions in the market, So people will ape into positions with 50, 100x, and then before you know it, it all falls away. And in fact, I've got a very good friend of mine and someone I'm very, very fortunate to work alongside, a brilliant trader called Razoon, who's going to be on the stream with me next Monday, and we're going to look at his liquidation levels indicator, right, that he's built just for our members at the Bird Nest. Sorry, guys, just sipping some tea. Right, SEI. Here we go. Let's do really quick top down. We're going to try and get through another 4 or 5 in the next 9 minutes, all right? So back to the daily chart. Let's just clear all of this up. Again, just showing simple support resistance flips, what happens when price kind of shows big displacement through a particular level, but we don't need that now. So once again, what we're asking ourselves, where is the clear and obvious liquidity? Right, well, this was the high that was swept, that was significant. We then see price go into a corrective move lower. Now, the expectation is, again, when we take out a high, we're then looking lower and saying to ourselves, if we allow for our premium and discount, well, we can see we've got this fair value gap down here, which is holding price really, really nicely. I'm just going to draw this back over here so it doesn't become too obtrusive. But we can see this is down here. Now, look at these downside wicks. So immediately, I'm thinking to myself, well, this has acted as really, really strong support. We can see people keep getting flushed out here, going short. These positions keep getting bought up, just like Megastroke talks about there in terms of liquidity, over-leveraged, over-leveraged, over-leveraged. We've had this big breakout here. Died away. Liquidation 2 weeks ago was crazy, $1 billion. And we've seen that in the market. So it just goes to show you how willing people are to kind of throw their money in. And that's because people did this, right? We got this break of this high, I would imagine, or price started to show bullish momentum, and then people start aping in with massive leverage here. So what the market does is the market thinks, all right, if you've got in here, where's your stop loss? Your stop loss is below that low, right? So what does it do? It shifts the market down here to wipe you out, or not wipe you out, wipe anybody out that's over leveraged before it goes to your target. And that's why you see crypto Twitter full of people saying, oh, I had the right trade plan, I just got stopped out, it's all manipulated, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it probably is in crypto more so than anything, right? Just what I would say is just learn a way to not be on the wrong side of that. So plan here is really simple on the daily. I want to see price hold above here, in which case I'm still favoring long setups higher. If we close the daily below this, then quite simply my next target is this low down here, which is resting at 0.59840. So for your intraday traders, let's look at the 4 hour. Now, again, we can see that we're holding this. We haven't, so we've had an initial sweep here, which is good. So we've seen some inducement. We are now asking ourselves, where is price delivering from? Price is delivering from this 4 hour fair value gap. Yeah, so we've got that nice bullish reaction. We're not worried about this. This isn't resistance in any way at the moment, right? I'm just going to delete this because a lot of people will look at that and go, oh, okay, look, oh God, we're within this. Doesn't matter. Zoom out to your daily. What is it doing? It's just acting as support. You haven't closed below it. So as far as you need to know, when you go to the lower time frames, as long as that's green or whatever signals you use for visual representation, then, happy days here. All we're saying is we should still be looking for longs, all right? So what do I want to see to confirm that? Well, I want to see this bearish fair value gap. I want to see price close above it, draw back, and then it can make a move higher, right? So I want to see that turn from a bearish FVG for price to close above it on a 4 hour scale turn that to an area of support, yeah, like we see very, very often. You know, if you're looking at these and you're looking for sort of fair value gaps, fine, look at this one. Bullish fair value gap, price drew down, failed to find support. What did it do? Closed below it, then immediately made a beeline to take out the nearest clear and obvious liquidity. So I want to see price get above this and then push higher towards that. All right, that's my current thinking on SEI. I'm bullish on the daily time frame. I think we're holding a good level. I'm kind of bullish stroke neutral on this time frame at the moment. I want to see us get above this. If we fail to get above this, right, then quite simply, if we really struggle to show any momentum by the next 4-hour close, I would kind of say, look, it looks more likely that this is going to hold as a bearish FVG. Remember, it's not an inversion until we close above it. At the moment, it's bearish. So the longer that price holds there, right? So the next 4-hour close, if it's still meandering here, we want to see price punch through, yeah? High volume move, big body candle. Then what I would do is I would simply be looking for price to come a bit lower and start to attack the stops below here, right? And ultimately lower down to here if we got continuation. SCR, so INJ, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Moral, my man. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friend. Mega show. I read meme coins are worth 42 last Monday, all garbage coins. That was a top signal for now. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly how I was looking at it. Not just like, you know, but just saying you're looking at kind of an interim. You're looking at an interim top there. I think, you know, when it all just goes crazy and meme coins are just everywhere, it just, you know, it's always a sign. You just want to be careful. These kind of moves and stuff like that, when people are throwing their money into something like meme coins like crazy that they don't understand, and that's no offense to any of you that might be investing in them. Maybe you do understand them, maybe you don't. They don't have any utility. So basically, it's just for the fun of it. That tells me that a market's a little bit too hot. But overall, I always want to make sure I'm looking at the high time frame trend. And if I ever struggle with that, I always use my B Pro. This is genuinely the best indicator I've ever used, and the only real indicator that I use. You can adjust the high time frame and low time frame trailers, right? So the principle is the high time frame trailer here has had us bullish since where were we? Since 7.9, right? Price peaked out at 53. So you could have just got this indicator, bought it there, not sold it until you get a sell signal, which you still don't have. And then if you want to trade it intraday, you then have a current time frame trailer. So this is the weekly and the daily. So while the weekly is bullish, don't invest here while you're below the bearish trailer. Wait for a divergence. Wait for this thinner line to flip bullish. You can see that's gone grey. Buy here, and then you sell when it turns, and it turns here. So if you've done that, if you bought here, you'd put your stops underneath here, I suppose, underneath the trailer. So you see the big trailer here. This is your stop loss. So again, look, price came really close to stopping us out there, but didn't. You target the next clear and obvious liquidity here. Or you wait for B Pro to flip bearish, which it did here on this candle. So what's that candle's open was here. So even if you did it for that, you're still 1.63 up, but you're talking about huge percentages here. So you can make some really, really nice gains. If you are interested in anything like that, guys, or any of the trading education, you can start memberships from free. You can get a free trial to come along. You can get access to all of our trading team calls. Like I said, we've been profitable every month. And I've been here for 2.5 years. We did 330% return on investment last year. But the key thing for us is teaching people, right? We want people to learn. So I'm not going to sit here and plug this out to you too much. If you want to come along, you want to learn and see what we're about, please do check out in the description below. All right. So with this one, I'm going to pop our B Pro off very quickly. And then I think this is probably going to be the last one that we're going to get the chance to go through. But I will try and just rip through Sol and File very quickly. So on the daily, where are we? We have taken liquidity from the low down here. All right. This is a really significant low for me, in my opinion, because it's also equal with that low, right? Making those equal lows. That will be something you want to keep on your chart. Again, what did price do? Bullish fair value gap here. We inverse this, right? Meaning that we change it to purple, close below here. Where did price head for? The nearest resting liquidity. We've now found that. If we close this candle bullish, then I think we could look to kind of pull this up a little bit higher. Yeah. This is brilliant. That's exactly what FOMC is. It is exactly a load of old blokes moaning about price. To be honest, if you look at the FOMC, it can be so heavily manipulated, but it's a really good point. Do be careful today, guys, please. FOMC today. It's not until later on this evening, right? Do go and check out an economic calendar. Again, something you can find on the Bird Nest website. Yeah, so just go along to thebirdnest.com. Look on there. You can find the economic calendars, but also you can find our crypto screeners, right? Telling you what assets are running hot at the moment, what sectors to be cautious of. The screener on there gives you 3 different time frames as well, so you can pick and choose when you want to kind of get your entry into the strongest assets. But for me, obviously, look, on a daily scale, we have to remain bearish at the moment here. All right. I'm interested to see if price will pull back towards this order block. Because we've taken sell-side liquidity here, we've taken liquidity from the lows, chances are we'll kind of pull back a little bit from here. If we look on the 4-hour, it might give us a little bit of a clearer indication. Let's have a look here. Okay, so we had a very, very small sweep of that low. Yeah. So that low has been swept. Price is now expanding higher. What would I want to see? Again, if I want confirmation here, seeing price invert this, yeah. So again, we need to see price close above this here. Then my expectation is that price is going to come to at least here. Okay, so that's what I would look for there. However, we need to appreciate that we are currently still bearish. And if price does fail to get above here, right, and if we see price really kind of struggling here and come back down, then what I would look for is something like this. Sweep of the high, close below the low, and then my first target would be this. And ultimately then looking for that target down a little bit lower. So I'd want to see that sweep and break in structure. That's the point that I would then look to short that down lower. Okay. Do you know what? Someone really kindly asked us for File, didn't they? I really don't want to let them down. So what was it? Phil, isn't it? File USDT. Here we go. So just very quick look at this one, guys, and then I need to shoot because we are live today with our brethren over at the Bird Nest. We're going to do some live trading sessions. So daily, let's have a look. There we go. Right, so let's have a look where we are here. Yeah, hey, Ricky. Awesome. Yeah, sorry, bud. Just wanted to get around to that one for you. So we swept this high. Ultimately, again, I know I end up sounding like a broken record here, but let's look at that inversion and how that kind of led to price going down. We closed below here. Now, for me, this is the clear and obvious target, right? So that's where I'm looking to chase down. I really like this wick a little bit lower down as well. Hey, Tammy, great to see you, bud. And then we're in here, okay? So quite simply, while we're here and while we're below this OB, price could look to draw a little bit higher here because we've taken this little interim low here, yeah, which I'll just do in red so that stands out a little bit more. Then price can be looking to kind of draw up, but ultimately what we're looking for here is still this, right? Price to draw up here and then attack this liquidity lower down. If we come above and we close above this high here, this up close candle, then I think we violate that. I think then it's showing a lot of strength, but ultimately I'm looking for us to chase down that low. Big apologies for anybody that's listening today from Trade Club, by the way. I know I'm going to be a couple of minutes late. Please do bear with me. So here, this is really, really nice. Again, broken record time, right? But fair value gap here, currently bearish, right? Now, what have we done when we look at this room? Same principles, right? We've had this sweep on liquidity, meaning that we're expecting price to draw higher. Price could absolutely reject here, but if we close above this, I'd be really interested in looking at this price leg here and saying, okay, well, you know this black line is our higher time frame order block. If we close above here, I would still expect us to draw up here at least into premium so that we can see a good area to short. And looking at this on the 4 hour, it's very skinny, but we do have a little skinny bearish fair value gap here. So what a way that would be. Start to encourage people into long setups, change the market here, purge it lower, and then make a bigger recovery. All right, guys. And okay. Quickly, you're going to get me in trouble with Erica, by the way, so I hope you all know that's on you. But somebody else did ask for that. Loretto Jr., brilliant to have you here, mate. Okay, so super quick, and then I've got to go, guys. But what are we looking for here? So, cool. I mean, Sol's just on a beautiful rip, isn't it? Daily doesn't really tell us too much. I think one key thing here is that we've changed our state of delivery here. So it just means we close below this. The up close candle now becomes a bearish order block. Yeah, so if we draw this across from here, then we haven't taken any kind of low. The nearest kind of resting liquidity for Sol is down here. Okay, so that's what I'm really interested in there. Anytime, Touche, you know that, brother. So anytime we can draw down here. So actually, I'm going to look to the 4 hour for a bit more clarity. And lo and behold, we've got some beautiful clarity down here from the 4 hours. So we've had a local sweep here, but this is probably a little bit more significant just because of time and price. We've got this bearish fair value gap here. So if price is indeed going to be making a beeline for this, then what we want to see is price draw into here, fail to close above it, and then we're looking at short setup to lower. Now, I know a lot of you aren't really interested in shorting this market, and that's absolutely fair enough. Be very cautious of this high time frame order block. For the bulls out there, and you know, I love being bullish as much as anyone. I just like having a plan both ways. If we close above this here, yeah, then my expectation is for price to draw at least up to that fair value gap that we can see here. Yeah. And then we just want to play it level to level, guys, right? Like SC would say, like Dank would say, like these legends, right? Look, close above here. We can draw further into this high time frame order block. We need to remember that on the high time frame, this could provide resistance. Yeah, we're kind of semi-neutral on that. We're obviously bearish overall. Grigiti, you are very welcome. So this would be my target. If we close above this, I think we pump to here. If we then get to there and we close above this here, then my target are these highs. All right, guys, look, I hope it's been useful for you all. Thank you so much for your time. Please do check out the information in the description. You can reach out to me on Twitter. You can find us at The Burbness. You can find me at BC_Richfield. If you've got any questions, if you've got any way you want to connect, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Big thank yous to everyone. I need to rush now to go and apologize to Trade Club and get ourselves jumped on board with that. But I will see you legends on Monday. Remember, we've got our legendary friend Razoon coming on, who is going to give you liquidation levels. Let me just show you. Let me give you just a very quick teaser. Good God, I'm going to be in trouble with Erica. Right, so I need to remember what chart it is. Hang on. It's BTCX. Is it? No. Ones with, so this really heavily uses open interest data, right? So I need to find the right Bitcoin chart. 1 second. What did Raz tell me? He said I need to find a chart that has the open interest data. So let's have a look. I don't know if I've got one of those. I've really built it up now as well, so I feel like I really need to kind of show you guys. Let's have a look. Don't know if this one does it as well. Let's have a quick look on here. Very, very quickly, guys. I think I probably messed this up. I need to get the correct chart because for this indicator requires... Yeah, it's not this one, is it? This indicator requires open interest data, right? But what it does is it provides these amazing lines and levels where the stop losses are sat. And then you can use that to kind of go along and target them. I don't know if anybody knows it. BTC, USD, USDX, no. No, it's not. Guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you on that one with a teaser, but believe me, you're not going to want to miss it next week. The liquidation level mapping is really, really good. You basically get a load of indications like this when clusters of these levels build up. And it just means that when you're up here and you're targeting a short level, you know that's the kind of max pain for people. You know that's where the big stop losses and that rest. So it's a really, really good way to add some confidence to your trading. But I'll post an update about it probably end of this week before we go live on Monday, give everybody the chance to get it in their calendars. But as always, please do have a fantastic week. Be careful trading today, FOMC day, right? So we know what that can do to the markets. Have a fantastic week and a weekend, and I hope to catch you all around the nest.